Hey everyone. I actually reserved this place here for doing a live stream months ago. I reserved it back in August and it was really hot. So I thought, perfect. It'll be a nice, beautiful place I can show to end the year. And yeah, it's extremely cold right now, but we are here and we will be doing the live stream regardless of the weather today. So let's get started with our lesson. We're going to be learning about the form 대. The way to make it. So when you're talking about the present tense, so I do, I go, not I will go, future tense, not I went, past tense, present. When you have an action verb, you take the action verb stem and you attach 는 대. For example, the action verb 먹다, to eat. Well, the stem, you just remove the 다, 는 대. You're done. There is a exception if the action verb stem ends with this letter, 릴. You remove it, and then you still do the same thing. 살다, to live. So to do that, all you do is you remove this letter, 사는데. That's all you have to do. If you have a descriptive verb, however, and a descriptive verb is anything that you're not doing, so to be big. Do you big something? No. To be, it's a green ball. To be green. But this is anything that you're not doing as an action. So those are called descriptive verbs. You take the stem, but you're going to attach something different. If the stem ends in a consonant, then you're going to attach 은대. And if it ends in a vowel, you're going to attach just a nian followed by 대. 작다, to be small. So you get the verb stem, 작은데. 크다, to be big, 큰데. There are some exceptions, however. If the descriptive verb stem ends with any of these letters, drop them. And then continue as normal. Let's do an example. 길다 means to be long. You remove it first before you do anything. So then you have 기, 긴데. If you have a descriptive verb that ends with this letter, 그렇다, to be so. You get the verb stem, you remove it, 그런데. In fact, 그런데 is a normal word you'll see used. It's kind of like however or but. Now, if it ends with this one, there's something extra you have to do. 맵다, to be spicy, so spicy food. Well, you get the verb stem, you remove this. After you get this, and you have to always add this syllable, 우. And now you can finish it. 매운데, 매운데. The verbs 있다, to exist, and 없다, to not exist. You can just remember these as is. 있는데, 없는데. To make the past tense, so you take whatever the stem is after you've made that tense, and you attach 는데. The end. For example, 하다 in the past tense is not 했어요 or anything. It's 했어요. So you've already done all of the exceptions and all of the changes, whatever, when you get to here. So when you get to these double letters like that, that's the stem. Anything else, delete it. 했는데. Let's do a different verb. So 먹다 in the past tense, 먹었어요 or 먹었어 or 먹었습니다 or whatever you want to do. As soon as you get to these two letters, you've got the stem. 먹었는데. It doesn't matter what type of verb, action or descriptive, because once you've gotten here, you've already done all of the exceptions and conjugation and rules to get here. So you're done. So what is this form used for? This form is used to show contrast. Contrast as in to explain how something's different. This form often gets translated to things like and, but, or though. I would say the best way to think about this form is not to translate it as and, but, or though. Do not just translate this form as but in your mind. There is more to it than that. It can translate as that in a lot of sentences. So you might be left feeling this form translates as kind of like a soft but. I'm going to leave that. To help you understand it, imagine that you're putting one part of the sentence on this hand and the other part of the sentence on this hand. For example, I exercise every day, but I'm not losing weight. I exercise every day. I'm not losing weight. What word would you put in between these sentences to show that they are contrasting? I'm exercising every day. I'm not losing weight. What word would you put there? Most people might say you'd put but. And I would say you're right. A lot of times you're going to translate this as but, although the meaning is a bit softer. It could be I'm exercising every day and I'm still not losing weight. It doesn't necessarily have to mean they are headbutting, that these are totally like incompatible sentences, but you're simply contrasting them. You're explaining that there's a difference. Like, hey, I'm explaining to you, look, And look, that's what the form does. The feeling of this form is actually like you've got two things and you're putting them up against each other, like you're weighing them on your hand. That's what this form is. Like, huh? Huh? Like, I felt like Tim Allen for a second. So you've got A here, and you've got B. I want you to feel this because this is not something that just translates into English nicely. This is a feeling. If you can feel this, you'll use it much more accurately. Before we go on and talk about how else it's used, how is this form then different than just saying 지만? 지만 actually states that something happens or something is, however, this. So it definitely cuts them off. And 지만 is a much stronger meaning. When you use 지만, you are saying this is this way, but this is this way. When you're using 대, however, the listener is the one who decides how they are connected, how they are contrasting. Again, that's what you get with 대. Okay, so then, when would you use this form? This 대 form is used for explaining. It has the feeling of, I'm going to explain something to you. It's used at the end of a sentence or in the middle of a sentence when you want to explain something. This explaining feeling, like I'm bringing something up to your attention, is what the 대 form feels like. Because what this form actually is, it's used for setting the stage or setting the background for something that you're talking about. And the way it does that is by introducing helpful information. So imagine that you are doing this. This is like, hey, I'm going to introduce information to you. Look at it. It's useful information. It's something you should know. I'm setting the stage for something I'm going to talk about. I'm giving background. So all of this meaning comes back to explaining. So when you do this, something 대, it's like you're pulling it up. You're like saying, here, look at this. This is what we're working with. This is what we're starting with. This is the background to what I'm going to explain. So because of that, this is not only useful in the middle of a sentence to say but, it can also be used at the end of a sentence with that same feeling. This is how learners can get confused when they see this form because they think it means like but, and when they hear it at the end of a sentence, they don't get how does it feel? Why would they use it in this situation? Because that's what this form does. This form is for explaining something. It's for setting the stage, for saying, hey, I've got some information to tell you. Like, look at this, If you use this form in the middle of a sentence, you can translate it as something like, hey, I'm trying to explain something. You're introducing background information. Another way you can translate this would be like, well, you see, 친구가 있는데 그 친구는. So you're talking about, hey, I have a friend. And that friend, you're not saying but, you're doing this. Maybe and. Say, hey, 친구가 있는데요. 그 친구는. So I've got a friend and that friend, you talk about them. So that's in the middle of a sentence. So, hey, I've got this friend. You're introducing something. You're setting the stage. I'm going to tell you about my friend. So I'm trying to explain I've got a friend. So you see, I've got a friend. Or even just so. So I've got a friend, the 대 form, is most commonly used when you're making questions, commands, or suggestions. There is another way that this is used at the end of a sentence. But before we do that, let's go right into some examples so you can see how this is used. 운동을 매일 하는데 살이 안 빠져요. 운동, exercise, 매일, every day. 하는데, so 하다, to do. So I am doing exercise every day. I'm exercising every day. 살 빠지다 is how you say lose weight. So I'm not losing weight. 운동을 매일 하는데. Hey, so you see, what I'm trying to explain is, so I'm exercising every day. I'm not losing weight. So I'm exercising every day, you see. I'm not losing weight. You can say I'm exercising every day and I'm not losing weight. You can say I'm exercising every day, but I'm not losing weight. Or though, anything to show contrast is okay. 운동을 매일 하는데 살이 안 빠져요. So I'm exercising every day. I'm not losing weight. It shows contrast between these two sentences. So often, but will be a good translation, but not always. 운동을 매일 하는데 살이 안 빠져요. I'm exercising every day, but I'm not losing weight. 일 means work or job. 일은 쉬운데. So this is 쉽다, to be easy. 재미가 없어요. 재미가 없다 means to not be entertaining, to be boring, to not be fun. 일은 쉬운데 재미가 없어요. You see, so the work's easy. It's just not fun. You don't even need to have a connector in there. you can just say, you see, the work's easy, it's just not fun. Adding but or and is something that we often want to do when we're translating, but in Korean, it doesn't matter. Again, you're simply saying, look at this, there's some contrast, now I forgot the word, contrast, that's the word. There's some contrast between these two sentences. The work's easy, it's not fun. 일은 쉬운데 재미가 없어요. Well, the work is easy, you see, the work's easy, but it's just not fun. 2살인데 말을 정말 잘해요. So 2 years old. 인데, from the verb 이다, to be. Hey, so, they're 2 years old. 2살인데 말을 정말 잘해요. 말, words, so speech. 정말, really, 잘해요. They're really good at speaking. Even though they're only 2 years old, they speak really well for 2 years old. 2살인데 말을 정말 잘해요. They're 2 years old, but they speak really well. 2살인데 말을 정말 잘해요. So this is 해보다, to try doing something. 해봤는데, so I tried it. 쉽다, to be easy. 쉽지 않아요, so it's not easy. I tried it, and it's not easy. I tried it, but it's not easy. I tried it, it's not easy. 제가 해봤는데, I'm introducing important information. I'm going to explain it. I tried it. You see, I tried it, but it's not easy. 콘서트 표를 샀는데 갈 수 없었어요. 표, ticket. 콘서트, concert. 콘서트 표를 샀는데, so I bought a concert ticket. You see, I bought a concert ticket. 갈 수 없었어요. I couldn't go. 콘서트 표를 샀는데 갈 수 없었어요. So I bought a concert ticket, but I couldn't go. 샀는데, you see, I bought a ticket. I couldn't go. BTS 콘서트 표를 샀는데 갈 수 없었어요. So sad. And let's just pick one of the sentences that we already did. I exercise every day. 운동을 매일 하는데. So what if we just end our sentence with that? 운동을 매일 하는데요. What does that mean? What do you think that would mean? Because it doesn't mean but. I exercise every day, but you're still introducing something. You're saying, hey, here's some important background information. This is something that I need to tell you. It's important. Maybe you don't know it, but I'm introducing it to you. By doing that, you're implying that you have a different opinion or feeling about something. So you're saying, I exercise every day. So you're wrong saying I'm not exercising. Or I'm exercising every day, so what should I do? Or I'm exercising every day, I thought, am I doing it wrong? Or I'm exercising every day, whatever you want to put in there, you're still saying, Like, hey, I am showing you something. What's your response to this? You're still introducing something. You're saying, what do you think? 운동을 매일 하는데요? Could be like, hey, something's wrong. Wait, I'm exercising every day. So maybe the person says, hey, you need to be exercising. You shouldn't be eating so much food. That's why you're gaining weight. 운동을 매일 하는데요? Like, well, I am exercising every day. You can say it in different ways you want, whatever you want to imply. But the general idea is, I'm exercising every day. Like here it is. Here's the information I'm giving you. What would you say to that now that I'm bringing this up? What's your reply? And then they would say, oh, I see. Now we have this information to deal with. It implies you think you have a different opinion about something because you're introducing, you're like, hey, well, what about this? Like, Hey, I'm exercising every day. You're introducing something. You don't have to bring something else to contrast it with. By itself, you're still introducing it. You're still doing the exact same thing and saying, I'm bringing in new information. This is helpful information. I'm trying to explain that I exercise every day. So yeah, you see, I exercise every day. I should also say that when you're ending a sentence with this, you'll typically want to add 요 when you're being polite. Also, the intonation will usually go slightly up. Not like 요. The very last syllable will go up. So if you don't have a 요, that means the 대 will go up slightly. 운동을 매일 하는데, 운동을 매일 하는데요. The very last one, slightly up. That makes it into kind of like a question, like, hey, like, what do you say to that? I'm exercising every day. What do you think about that? Kind of like that. There's one more thing you can use it for at the end of a sentence. Kind of like for when you're exclaiming something, like, wow, like, oh, you're still doing the same thing, huh? But by doing that, you're also kind of saying, hey, like you're admiring something. So you're kind of like, hey, wow. Like maybe someone says, like, what do you think about that? And you want to say, oh, I think it's great. You don't want to say, oh, it's good. You don't want to say, 좋아요. You're not saying it's good. You're saying, 좋은데요? Like, hey, this is different than what you thought, maybe. I'm implying I have a different opinion about something. You might not expect this, but 좋은데요? Like, hey, actually, like I'm good with that. Yeah, that's great. Kind of like, hey, 맛있는데요? Like, hey, no, this is really good. So it can also be used for exclaiming things. So let's do 2 examples where it ends a sentence. The K is the same thing as 것이. So 내가 한 것이 내가 한 게 아닌데요? So literally, it's not something that I did. So I didn't do it. 내가 한 게 아닌데요? I'm feeling a little bit different about it. I didn't do it. But do you think I did it? I didn't do it. Huh? Or we could change it to 제가 한 게 아닌데요? 제가 한 게 아닌데요? Or 내가 한 게 아닌데? Either of those work. 아직 쓰고 있는데요? 아직, still. 쓰다, to use. I'm still using it. 아직 쓰고 있는데요? Hey, I'm still using it. So, can you use a different one? Do you really need to ask me? Are you going to offer me money? I'm still using it. 아직 쓰고 있는데요? Can you ask someone else? Like that. So, that's all there is to using this. There's one more use of the te form. It still has the same feeling though, but te has one more meaning that is similar to saying while. The translation can be while. It does not actually mean while. This has the same feeling as before, holding up one hand. It's the same feeling, but it can have a different translation in some sentences. So this is when it's in the middle of a sentence. In order to do this, you'll have a present tense verb plus 는. And often, this will actually be the 고 있다 form. Progressive tense, like 하다 would become 하고 있다, which would then become 하고 있는데. And the sentence after will end in the past tense. I'm going to give you one example. 샤워를 하고 있는데, shower. This is shower. Hopefully you do it every day. 샤워를 하고 있는데 전화가 왔어요. So you can translate this sentence as, while I was taking a shower, I got a phone call. Let's look at this as if I didn't tell you it meant while. What would this sentence mean? 샤워를 하고 있는데, you see, I was taking a shower. The phone rang. That's it. And, but, though, but in this case, while is a much more natural translation of it. So, I'm taking a shower, the phone rang. So what's happening is I am taking a shower right now in this story that I'm telling you, in this situation. And then the phone rang. 전화가 왔어요. That's all it is. However, there is one more te form. There is a different form that has te that uses a space. We're not going to be talking about that today, but you can learn about it in this live stream. It is not the same thing. This te can have other meanings. For example, it can mean a place. This one is unrelated. That's all the lesson for today. Thank you everyone for coming. 그럼 다음에 또 봐. Oh no, it started snowing again. Suddenly I remembered I'm freezing. Oh, see you.